First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Hi, Rob. What are you doing?
I am doing very little. Had some lunch, and now I'm just kind of laying low in some cozy clothes. How about you?
I love that. Yeah, I've been running around. You guys sent in such good questions last week. And also, transparently, me and Rob and Joy have the craziest schedules for the next few weeks. So we're grabbing at least two of us for 20 minutes anytime we can. And we're making it happen.
Yeah, we take no days off for you all, listeners.
Listen, One Tree Hill is the gift that keeps on giving, so we should too.
Well put. Oh, with that first question,
Right?
Rosie asks, if your character could design their perfect fantasy vacation, where would they go and what would be on their itinerary?
Oh, I sort of love this because I watched the news all morning about like holiday traffic with people going to the beaches and stuff. Hold on, before we get into characters, I actually need to ask you this because I realize I don't know the answer. Are you a beach guy or a mountain guy?
Ooh, both. I know that's a lame answer, but the truth is for our honeymoon, we went to Thailand and it was beaches all day, every day. But I am a sucker for a cabin, a cozy cabin and some solitude and some good clean air. Sign me up. How about you?
I feel that too. I will say I'm not a person who at home electively goes to the beach very often. Like living in Southern California, everyone assumes that we just go to the beach. And I'm like, I don't really do that. I make an effort to go to the mountains, to go to the woods, like to be in that sort of solitude, nature, tall trees vibe more. But like maybe I just take the beach for granted because it's right there. I don't know.
But I have to say the beach is also such a to-do because as you started answering, I realized I like a beach when it's a bougie beach, when there's already chairs on the sand for me, when there's like a food right nearby. And now I have to say as a parent, if you said, let's take your family to the beach, I would say my first thought would be, that's a nightmare.
Well, a beach with a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
The amount of gear you need for a 3-year-old and then to get them sandy and wet is a lot.
It's a lot, man. So, I mean, if it's as a family trip, mountains all day.
I like that. I will say I get what you mean when you said you like a bougie beach. I was like, of course. Like you do the beach for your honeymoon. You do a beach like for some epic, big birthday. Like, I don't know, you go to somewhere fancy for your 40th birthday or something. That I get. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would lean on mountains more. I do feel like though, Brooke Davis is like an incredible European city kind of gal. You know, I feel like she wants to go to Paris and have days, like a long weekend to herself, like for her and her handsome husband and, run around town with her cute kids and then swing into Fashion Week or something. I think she's the kind of gal who likes the experience and the travel and the food and then also wants to figure out a way to be efficient and work while she's there. That would be my bet for her.
I could see that, especially with the what would be on their itinerary, because having an itinerary for a vacation feels very Brooke Davis to me.
It does. I love that. I actually want Brooke Davis to give me a vacation itinerary. If I could get into like the ripple in the space-time continuum and actually meet the person that I played, I feel like I'd want to download all of her travel lists.
She would have done her homework. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's so thoughtful and she's like such a hard worker that you would know everything was well vetted. You know how you have that one friend and if they tell you, hey, you got to try this restaurant, it's different than when anyone else recommends it because you're like, oh shit, they know food. I think that's how Brooke's recommendations would be. I think Clay would be a mountain guy. I think he deals with enough smoke and mirrors and publicity events and crowds in his everyday life with his clients that I think it would be a escape to the mountains with Quinn and maybe a third tag along. If you haven't seen later seasons, I won't even give it away, but with his family, I think he would want no cell phone service, cozy. People
Yeah.
are like, let's do it.
Oh, I love that. I can sort of see it now. Like, I picture the episode being showing up to some great cabin and then Clay sneaking into like wherever the Wi-Fi router is in the house, like in the Airbnb, and just flipping it off and being like, oh no, the Wi-Fi is down. We all have to hang out.
That would be a really funny start of a horror movie, is the dad turning off the Wi-Fi and the teenage kids losing it. And it's 90 minutes of a family trying to figure out how to exist without internet.
Okay. I'm in.
Let's make that.
I'm into it for a movie. I'm into it for an episode. Let's go.
Lindsay asks, are you actually bringing back OTH? I need to know everything. What can you tell us?
Well, I can't tell anyone anything really. I mean, granted, we've had conversations off of the recordings, but what I can say is that after, God, close to half a decade of these conversations, we've been able to all sort of like divide and conquer in the coolest way. And those of us with TV producing experience are having some really exciting conversations. It's a development moment right now. It's been in development for some time. I think that's all I can say. But yeah, it's been this experience and really even longer than we've had this wonderful show. But the experiences we've had with the fans who've continually asked the coolest questions and made us think about, you know, where our whole ragtag gang of humans would be at this point, that has prompted the ideas. So I think that's all I can say on this podcast, but I do hope we have exciting updates, and I hope we get great news and we have a big announcement, and I hope it leads to us being able to bring you so many more podcasts from this wonderful universe in the future. How did I do?
You did great. I would add that you all make great stuff. I mean, case in point, drama queens, but there's been a lot other stuff. So first of all, like I put in your Instagram message, the show is in very good, capable hands. Yes. And I think it's great that it's been in development for a while, because that means you're giving it the time and attention that it deserves, because it is a show that means a lot to a lot of people. And I love that it wasn't a quickly rushed cash grab, and rather sort of a labor of love.
No way.
That you are taking your time to develop and curate to make sure it's as great as it can be.
Thank you. You know, I think it's so funny that like that narrative about a cash grab, right? Like if that had been the goal, versions of this would have happened a long time ago.
Yeah. Yes.
I think like the most amazing and empowering experience I've had with all of you guys is like sometimes when we recenter the folks who weren't centered the first time, or you actually just, you know, create like equity and partnership, and you allow everyone to do like the things that they're best at and bring all their best ideas to the table, like magic can happen. And that's pretty cool to me. Like, listen, do I wish that the news hadn't leaked before we could announce it was official? Sure. But if it happens, I will be so freaking proud. Much like we said, that every single person gets to bring their expertise to the table now, you know, because some of us have gone on to become TV and film producers. Some people are music producers. Some people are novel writers. Some people like, there's so much talent in like this special group of circus performers that we are. And I don't know, if everything works out, it'll just be so great. We got a big bench now, you know?
Dude, the roster is deep. I was actually thinking about that this morning. I was just going, you have a murderer's row of people you can bring in here. Like, there's just heavy hitters from start to finish. But yeah, it sucks the news got leaked. It's careless and it's a disservice to the fans, because you're getting them excited about something that potentially could not happen, you know? So it's crummy that it got leaked, but you know, it's also super exciting, and knowing that it's coming from you guys, I think, and it trended on a global scale. Yeah, I think I would say
I was like, oh God, no pressure.
If I was a betting man, yeah, I would say it's going to happen. Well, and I'm hoping it happens. Fingers crossed. But knowing it's y'all, I think it's going to happen.
Well, if this lovely adventure we've all, been on Zoom is any indicator, I'm like, yeah, I just want to go back to work and play with all my friends. And like, what day will Rob hide hot dogs in my car? I can't wait to find out.
Did I hide hot dogs in your car?
No, but you did.
I
fully costume out my car in Ed Hardy, and we have eaten a lot of hot dogs together. I don't think we've eaten as many hot dogs as you and Hilarie perhaps have at this point. But
no one has. No one has,
and I admire you guys. Win the gold medal there, and I cheers you forever.
Yeah, I remember Hardy bombing your car because I was doing this thing called Ed Hardy Fridays because I had that kind of free time back then. And I remember seeing that they made car decorations that were just obnoxious. And you and I were close, but we weren't super close. Not that there was a rift. We just didn't know each other super well yet.
We never really got to work together.
Never. Yeah.
But after our Katz's Deli adventure, I feel like we were always like, you're my kind of people.
Yeah, you were sort of just a buddy I hadn't hung out with enough yet. But you're right, Kat solidified it. But I remember asking Austin, because you were going to be out of town for something, and being like, do you think this would go over okay? and being so excited because I went off on your car, but also being nervous of like, oh, I really hope she's okay. This is her space. I hope she's okay with it. But it was glorious.
I loved it. I was like, God, he really commits to the bit. Also, isn't it insane how much free time we all had before Instagram?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
That's a heavy sigh.
It is.
Amy has a question. I'll read this one for you.
Okay.
I'm curious actually if they ever answered this question for you when you were joining. Why is the show called One Tree Hill? We obviously understand Tree Hill, but I never understood the one. I believe at the end of the series, Haley tells Jamie there is only one Tree Hill. But did they always know she would say that when they first named the show? It always confused me. Oh, Amy, it always confused us too.
Yes. I don't know that I realized this. No one told me going into it, by the way.
Okay.
But I do believe that it's a U2 song, correct?
Yes.
And like every episode of the show, it's just a song title, right?
Yes. So here's, and I don't have like full confirmation on this because no one would ever really say, but what I've gathered is that, yes, as every episode of the show is named a song title, the show, which was originally called Ravens, because it was a movie about a high school basketball team and then it evolved into a show. And then wisely, the folks at Warner Brothers were like, this is about way more than the basketball team. So it can't be like a mascot show. Rename it. I believe that the, creator and producers and whatnot liked the song title idea, but I think they couldn't say they named it after a U2 song without potentially getting sued for like IP infringement. So then they would always say, we didn't name it after that. It's about a town called Tree Hill and like, it's such a special singular place. There's only the one, but it's kind of every town and the characters are like, all these people. And it was always a really weird argument that felt like it had a lot of holes in it to me. I was like, I think you guys named it after the U2 song and you don't want to get sued. But they would never say that. So everybody's guess is as good as ours. But I can say, absolutely not. We did not know that.
No.
Haley would say that to Jamie. We did not know that whole sort of iconic, there's only one Tree Hill and it's your home thing would happen because every single year of our show, they told us we were getting canceled. So we never knew we were going to make it to the characters having kids, even though Haley and Nathan had Jamie so early. I don't know, y'all. Maybe we owe Bono some money, but if we do, please don't ask me because I don't have any of the producer money from this show. So go after other people, please and thank you.
Bono has enough money, guys. We don't need to feel bad about this.
I mean, I would agree, but hey, there's my disclaimer. It's like, this is the audio version of the asterisk.
Yeah.
Where you do the quick read at the bottom being like, and audiences must be 21 and over to whatever that is. This is my version of that.
Side effects include not paying the creator of the song the show was based on.
Okay, Mason wants to know, and this feels right up your alley, Rob.
Okay.
Imagine your character is a superhero. What would their superhero name and costume look like? And what would be their signature move?
Okay. So his superhero name would be Dissociation Man. His costume would be regular everyday clothes. And his signature move would be the ability to dissociate in a moment anytime he's in an uncomfortable situation.
The swiftness with which you just turned Clay's deep trauma into a superpower is incredible to me. A+ to you and your therapist.
Oh man, how about you?
Well, it's funny to me because I guess we were really in a place, weren't we, when Brooke decided to make superhero costumes for herself and Haley and Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Aside from Bedazzle, I mean, I don't know. I always, growing up, when people asked me, like, why do you want to be an actor? When I was little, and I'd say, like, I want to make movies. I would always say I wanted to be Batman. And people were like, you mean Batgirl? And I was like, no, Batman. I always loved the idea of the Dark Knight, like this crime fighter, this person who, like, had a life, not unlike Brooke Davis's, right? Like big, successful, sort of famous in their town person who then was like fixing the city's problems after dark. I would love if Brooke Davis were like the like femme fatale Bruce Wayne and was out there kicking ass for justice. And then, she had like a sports car that was the Bedazzle mobile or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I don't know. I got to workshop it. I'm not as fast as Rob, but I have thoughts.
I like it though. Let's gender flip it, Why not?
Yeah, the female Bruce Wayne, why not?
Kylie writes in, huge fan of you guys. Thanks, Kylie. Loved all three. She wrote this while Hilarie is still here. Loved all three of you on OTA.
Stop. They love you too, silly goose.
Was there ever a time you rooted for a couple that your character was not in?
Yes.
Same. You go first.
No, you tell me. I love this answer from you.
Well, funny enough, it's Brilliant. Because here's why. Mind you, I also, I don't know the origin stories of a lot of the characters since I don't know the earlier seasons. But here's what I'll say is I was thinking about what Brooke and Julian are both going through right now. And they're both, it's noble on both sides. Like the intentions are good. He's making mistakes with Alex, like in terms of how he's not watering the correct plants, in my opinion, in terms of the use of his time.
Oh, I like that phrase.
But he's a good guy. Like he's earnest and he's doing it with integrity. So it's not like Millie right now going off on this after school special. Like he means well. Brooke means well. They're both like dealing with like real issues. But I just found myself going, I love the two of you together. I love what you have. And I really hope it works because it's also because like the conflict is real. It's not some exaggerated thing. It's like we're having fertility problems and you're having a hard time, balancing your work life, your work life sort of, split.
Yeah.
And that's real to me. So it's like, yeah, this is a real couple I like facing a real problem and I'm in. I'm on board. Let's see it work.
I love that. I felt that with them too. And I think maybe, we joke about the sort of, but I love him nature of a teen drama, right? And I think there was so much reality in a lot of the young love stories on our show, but particularly the flip-flopping for Brooke and Peyton with the Lucas love triangle, like, it felt so powerful. And then there were moments where I felt like they didn't know what to do with us. So they'd make us fight over a boy again. And I loved them getting to be juvenile in that way. But I did really also love, and I'm enjoying watching it right now with you guys, what you're talking about, this more adult version of these are two people who love each other, and life is also really hard when you're a grown up. And it's hard to manage stuff and keep your relationship, always alive or the focus or whatever. No one has enough time in the day. And yeah, there's a less heightened sense of drama that I appreciate about how real these problems are.
Yeah.
So I love that. I hadn't thought about it in that way in a beat. Here's what's really funny. I mean, we all rooted and root for Haley. They to me are the sort of iconic, impossible love story, but because James and Joy were so grounded in it, they really made it work in a way that I just always loved watching them together. And when have you ever watched a couple be together for 9 years on TV, right? But the thing I don't think people will expect is that I actually became such a huge Peyton and Lucas fan. Because in our youth, when we were in this love triangle, my job was to throw Brooke Davis into this love story with this boy in such a way that then when you get to season 7 and you find out she has never said I love you to anyone else, you go, oh shit, I can see how that happened. Like, it was a big seismic love for her and it absolutely broke her heart. And Joy and I have talked about this a little bit, like where when you are in these relationships, and Hilarie and I have obviously talked about it as well, but we're not doing season 7 together, where when you're so in these relationships, you get like a little possessive of your on-screen character. And I really had to, after I was like, Lucas Scott is the one for Brooke Davis, and like, she's got to be all in. I had to like figure out how, as Brooke, to be Peyton's best friend and to be her maid of honor and to like put that to bed and think about what would it be like in real life if my best friend wound up marrying the person I thought I was going to marry. Like, it's actually so crazy when you think about it, right?
Ooh, yeah,
and
man.
So I really got to go back and look at the initial connection of them. And yeah, of course, like the conversations I was having with the writers then, who, they love to stir drama. They told me it was always going to be Peyton and Lucas. They told Hilarie, Brooke and Lucas were going to be the shift. Like, nobody knew what was real. Yeah. But I was going off what I knew. And to look at their scenes like, you don't know me, and him coming to get her in the tow truck, and all these like kind of iconic moments where they would find each other despite Nathan, despite Brooke, despite everything around them that told them it wasn't supposed to happen. And they were these two like sensitive emo artists who really felt seen by each other. Like, I had to get on board with it in a way to play my character. And I love them. Like, watching their wedding at the end of season 6, I was weeping. I was just like, God, I love these two people together. I love the ease. I love the romance. I love the whole vibe. So I don't know. I don't know if people would assume that like the gal who played Brooke Davis is actually so deeply obsessed with Peyton and Lucas as a couple, but I was like, that's my best friend's person. I don't know. I just love it.
That's a very evolved take to be able to go, it's their person, Well,
I mean, to be clear, it's also not like my actual, it's not like Hilarie married like my person.
No, I'm saying to Brooke's credit, it's very evolved to be able to go,
it is.
Okay, I'm going to walk that one off, take it to therapy. It's all good. That's his person.
That's one of the things that I think is sort of the magic of our show, and part of the reason why the girls, we always talk about how the female characters in particular modeled the biggest love stories because they overcame the most. They chose each other's happiness and figured out how to show up for each other anyway. And it's just so major. Like, no matter what stage we were going through, Brooke and Peyton's friendship, Brooke and Haley's friendship, Haley and Peyton's friendship, Haley's mentorship and friendship with Mia, seeing Quinn come in and seeing their sister relationship, like all of it, I really admire. I admire the way the women showed up for each other on our show. It sort of became like this heroic thing to me, which is wild when you consider that we had like a dude who didn't really like women very much in charge. And yet somehow we managed to do this stuff. What are you talking about? We managed to do this stuff that for all of its faults and for all of its jumping the shark silliness from time to time, I'm really proud of.
It has its moments, but it's also like it's sharky moments. I remember one of the first things I saw about the show when I signed on was the dog eating the hearts.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think it was on Talk Soup. And I just remember going, oh, what did I sign up for?
They loved to make fun of us, perhaps more than anyone.
Hey, fun fact. I actually ended up in a clip from One Tree Hill on Talk Soup.
Which one?
It was the one where James and I are at a diner. I think it's James and I. And the waitress comes over to pour iced tea. And she doesn't pour any in either of the cups. And you clearly see on camera that she's not filling the cups. She's just pantomiming. Yes, I remember because I think, do you remember we had a moment where we were doing corporate sponsors?
Yes.
I think we had to talk we had to talk about AT&T. I just remember there being like a bit about like tea. Like we were drinking teas, but I think it was so dumb. But we ended up getting on the soup. Like also like one of their like clips of the year was this horrible scene of James and I trying to have a conversation and iced tea not being poured. Ghost tea.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's not even something you can blame on the new ratio. Like what we were talking about with Joy the other day. Like it's like somebody just didn't make sure that there was one take you could use for continuity with that sweet woman actually pouring the tea.
And 100%, someone went up to her probably from sound and went, hey, could you not pour the tea? And unfortunately, no one behind Video Village went, did anyone else see her not pour anything into the glasses or whatever? I think it's like refills, but still she comes over and she pours the pitcher and nothing comes out. And we're like, thank you.
That's also that thing that happens where they're trying to protect sound on a day when you're behind. And they're like, we'll do a special real quick. We'll pick up her doing the pour. And like by the time they get to the end of the scene, everyone's forgotten about the special shot. And it is the thing that lives in infamy because it's so embarrassing and it would have been so easy to fix.
Oh, so easy. When that episode comes up, I'll make a point of calling it out.
Look how red my face is. I am so embarrassed.
It's great. It's great. Just one of the many reasons the show is so much fun, you know?
We've never claimed to be fancy. We're all just out here trying to figure it out.
Well put. And with that, our friends, we bid you adieu.
We will see you for the next one. Thanks for your great questions.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iHeartRadio.com. See you next time. We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team.